A little love story. Well, once they had a winter picnic in the city and went sleigh riding. They used to, you know. They drove out to some place and had a fish dinner. But they brought the wine with them from the city. And I suppose they do that still. There must have been something like 50 sleighs, with a lady and a gentleman in each of them. And then, the couple in one of the sleighs, he had on a fur coat and a fur cap, and she also had on a fur coat and a fur cap, and they were talking and laughing all the way. That is, he was talking all the time, and mostly about foreign countries. And when they arrived and went to dinner, those two sat down together. And then, while all the rest of the people at the table were talking and shouting, he got more and more enthusiastic as he kept telling her about the old Germans. That was his way. He began with the old Germans. He told her there used to be two kinds of Germans, Eastern and Western.
While the paint is drying at the horseshoe, I should like to travel a while and have a look at the country. You couldn't come with me, could you?
The Western ones were the Franks, the Saxons, the Frisians, and the Germans in England. The Eastern Germans were the Scandinavians and the Goths.
Not the usual classification, but it's the right one.
He explained.
Splendid! 3 cheers for the Scandinavians and the Goths!
And a tiger!
They were a restless lot, he said. And it was they that made the whole world restless. They were conquerors and Vikings and immigrants. They were like the rivers in the countries where they lived, which always come down with a roar. And the Scandinavians and Goths poured themselves frothing and foaming into other races, just as their rivers pour into the ocean. And that same restlessness was in him, too, he said. He wanted to get out. He must get away from here. And he said it so that the spirit of it caught her, too, and without thinking of it, she cried, "I want to go with you!" And afterwards, she felt ashamed of herself, of course. Then it was too late, for they had already become engaged.
And then the ride home! Oh, that ride home. That's what I remember best of all. That's when she became mine. Oh, I knew she would. I knew it when I tucked the robe around her. She was so soft and snuggly. And she was smelling of some kind of perfume. It was like new mown hay. And I took plenty of time getting her tucked up. She was going to be mine during that ride home. Nobody else in the world knew it. I knew. She knew. And good Lord, how beautiful she looked. One moonlit night, we were sitting on deck, your mother and I, as we were crossing the Mediterranean. We were going to Algeria. All the stars were out. We sat there and talked of the most beautiful legends, the love of youth, the attraction of one human being for another.
You couldn't come with me, could you? Oh, we might have a lot of fun together, just as in the old days, you know?
What limitless abandon and youthful longing. That's what we were talking of. We who were still in the first intoxication of our own love, and who are traveling besides. Traveling among all that's great and beautiful in the old world, in the realms of everlasting sunlight. No sooner did I think of it than it grew dark. Within me and around me. The sea was like a grave, or like a sorrow. A sorrow that took such hold of me that it seemed as if I should have to end my life then and there. Then she bent down over me. She took my head between her two hands and looked straight into my eyes. And her look was like the cure for all ills. I thought I heard, but it couldn't be possible.
Oh, I just happened...
Happened? How could anybody happen to do a thing like that? Is it your intention to drive me out of the house?
No, indeed. I'd rather go myself.
You? Where could you go?
Henning, the painter, opens his paint box, arranges his easel, selects some brushes, takes up his palette, and squeezes colors onto it. Karen assumes her pose, leaning on the table with her sewing things on it. Henning, the painter, says,
We'll think up something that's amusing. You know we can do that.
You mean I have nowhere to go?
I mean that you should leave my things alone. What were you doing in here anyhow?
I only...
Yes. Tears, of course. Oh, leave it alone. You don't know how to do it anyhow. Give it to me. I'll pick it up and put it right.
Think of being free, Karen, of breathing freely and to travel.
I can't get away from here. Don't you want me to help you?
Please get out of here. Damn the woman! I could only understand how such a thing could happen.
I was in a hurry and I had the coat on my arm.
Why should you be in a hurry?
Because, well, what does that matter?
You were hurrying to get another look at.
No, that's too much. I'm not going to stand it. For until now, I've borne with everything. You don't make the least attempt to control yourself. You insult Mala and me constantly. And you do it in the presence of strangers. You have done it once too often.
Oh, go to the devil.
All right, I'll go.
You go?
Yes.
Oh, go!
Are you in earnest?
Am I in earnest? No, I'm not.
You two ladies will have to come with me on a 3 weeks trip. That's all there is to it.
Now he has driven me out. Now I will go.
What in the world does she mean? Is she going? Karen? Where? Karen? What's all this? Ever since that damned painter.
Birgit Romer is going to take a trip through the country around here, and she has asked me to come with her. Now I'm going to do it.
Oh? Do you think there is nothing like the law and justice? You think, of course, that I won't dare to call the police?
Pooh!
Are you pooing the police?